I am sure it must have crossed your mind as to what and how did these white cliffs come about. I've wondered about it too. The Dvorichensky National Park is right on the banks of the river Oskil. You see those beautiful green lands? After that is Russia. So yes, this place is just around the border to Russia. Turns out the Oskil River has a lot to do with the White Cliffs. I cannot cite the information because I couldn't find any, but given the location and description of the cliffs, I can only assume these are massive deposits of calcium carbonate. Just like many beaches turn white because of the shells, I'm guessing the same happened here. All those beautiful shells from the river broke down into calcium carbonate, which usually is the main source of sand, and accumulated into these gigantic and beautiful cliffs. I would really love some info on this in English. Come on, Google, do better. As the sun came out and the cliffs started drying up, I could see the chalk much more clearly. There were heaps of broken up chalk, clumps here and there. I grabbed them a few times and they immediately streaked my fingers. Here, look at these beautiful little chalk stones. As much as I wanted to, I refrained from taking any of the chalk home. This park was created in 2009, directly on the president's orders. Evidently, the park is highly valuable and everything here is now owned by the state. This was another measure to protect the ecology of the chalk mountains and everything they have to offer. The worst thing I did was draw my name with a chalk on a larger piece of chalk. Once the sun was fully out, the true beauty of the chalk cliffs came to life. It was incredibly bright. The light was directly bouncing off the chalky white cliffs from all sides. The cliffs stood out beautifully and it was worth all the trouble we went through to get to this place. We set camp at the bottom of these shorter cliffs and the girls did what they wanted, which was mostly taking pictures for the gram. I sat there basking in the newly shining sun and simply taking in the majestic view. The Dvorichensky National Park is an incredibly toiling drive from the city. This section of the park is barely touched by visitors and very quiet. We had an elderly couple pass by who had come all the way from Poltava to strike this off from their bucket list. I thoroughly enjoyed the view from the top of the cliffs, looking down at the beautiful chalk cliffs of different shapes and that seemingly random patterns of weed growing on them. And the border to Russia had a beautiful green field in between us and them after a long line of white cliffs. If time permits, a revisit is due.